local man, Pat Cowdell, the Whalley wonder, a great favourite up here in the Midlands, and Cowdell with a world title shot against Rocky Lockridge very much on his mind. He has got a 10-rounder against a very useful Mexican called Santos Moreno, comes over here with a very decent reputation. We're going to join this fight right at the start, and your commentators once again are Jim Watt and Reg Guttridge.
Cowdell have to be on his toes a bit, I think, in this contest. Moreno comes with a reasonable reputation. He's 22, and he's had around 50 fights and only 8 defeats. It was hard to get Mexicans' records, because sometimes they don't even file them unless they fought 10-rounders. And this fellow fought when he was 17 and lived in the United States then. So the super featherweight champion of Europe, that's the 9-stone 4 division. I call it junior lightweight normally. Cowdell really is on the brink of getting a shot at the World Championship against Rocky Lockridge of America. Been fighting off a bit of a cold this week, Cowdell, but knowing him when he warms up, he'll be okay, because what you might call the second half of life, he's 31, he's really been boxing well. 27 wins, 3 losses, that's all. That was a cut-eye, and then a very disputed decision with David Needham, and of course a World Championship fight with Sanchez that went to the split verdict. But I tell you, he's got a tough little fighter here. The gymnasium touts in Birmingham. So they like the look of this fellow who's nicknamed Apache. They don't worry about reputations. I doubt if the Mexicans seen Cowdell in action before. He's probably been tipped off that he fought Sanchez for the championship at Houston, Texas. And there's the local crowd, as we expect, giving this very popular Midlander all the help he can get from the verbal side anyway. Jim, this is a good opponent, isn't it?
It's a good opponent, yeah. As soon as the first bell rang, he headed for the ropes as though he was quite content to stand back and counter-punch. He's let some nice counter-punches go. I think he knows what he's doing all right. Thankfully, Pat's beginning to sharpen up his punches just now.
Good defensive work there. Admittedly, they were swingy punches, but he just slipped those well, Cowdell. And then popped them back. What a counter. I call Cowdell the old general. He really does know the business. He won everything inside except an Olympic medal as an amateur. What a good amateur he was. And indeed a professional, of course, featherweight champion. And he gave up the championship in Europe at that weight and retired for a while. He swings a bit now, the Mexican, so Cowdell's got to tuck that head in behind the shoulders a bit, Jim.
Yeah, well, Cowdell can see the punches coming easily enough, but they're still good, strong punches. So the rundown then for Cowdell, 9'5½", as you can see, is a pound and a half heavier than his fighting weight. Maybe fighting that cold off a bit's given him a bit of trouble.
Be forced, Pat. You know, don't let him come at you. You be forced, right? It's only when you
manager Pat Lynch there.
Straight, elbows up, deep breath, hands up in your chin, Pat, when you do this down. Don't hold it down, your left hand.
Don't worry about it there.
He really loves the game, Pat Cowdell. He retired, and then his wife said he fidgeted about at home so much it was good when he made his comeback.
Okay. Just dip inside, 2 hands up, and he can't be
snappy with the jab. Take it out, round 2.
Second round then. Cowdell never afraid to take a contest to the man. Basically a counter puncher, quite likes the opponents to come at him, but he'll go and sort them out if he has to. You know, the young Cowdell was a little bit more hesitant than this, Jim, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, I think Pat's making fights easier for himself now because he's more positive. He's not letting the other fella get into the fight or dictate it any time, and he's trying to dictate the action here. Moreno's quite clever. He seems quite content to move back onto the ropes and then let the swinging counter punches go. But none of them are landing cleanly on Cowdell, thankfully.
He'll do well to stop this fella, though, I would think.
Yeah, well, Moreno is a big junior lightweight. He's very tall, he's awkward, he's quick. He throws good punches himself.
Low punch there. Good punch was a low punch there, eh? Yes.
Yeah, if Cowdell can stop him, it'll be a great result.
Cowdell's really got to keep sharp because the European Boxing Union have already nominated his next challenger, Carlos Hernandez. Can't say I'm in love with that one. He's a veteran who Carlos Bowser Edwards defeated. Cowdell really does turn this game into a bit of skill. The way always looking to slip punches and then counter. See that? He's actually reading the opponent before he lets the punch go. He's got to try and get inside a bit, Jim. I think he's got long arms, the Mexican.
Yeah, Cowdell's getting closer all the time, and it's a sign of a good fighter if he can go forward and not take any punches, and that's what Cowdell's doing now. He's moving the head all the time. He's getting in, then slipping the counters and landing his own. He usually has the last word in every exchange.
Yeah, he definitely plays chess matches with opponents and then clips them on the chin. Tell you what, Jim, if you'd have been a featherweight, you two would have had an interesting match. Sort of a no-hit, I would have thought.
Yeah, I think that the scoring would have been nothing each at the end of 10 rounds.
Much ado about nothing, I know. So the record there of Santos Moreno, lives now in Mexico City, but been in the States for a long time, and as his manager there, making sure you know his name as well, Chato Gomez. I think he's advertising himself. Fought for the North American Boxing Federation Championship in '81. He lost on points to Nick Perez, and then he fought another 12-rounder for the Junior Lightweight Championship. Let's have a look at the replay then. See, this fellow's Mexican's got swinging arm, difficult for Cowdell to get inside. Tip me off on that replay, away from that.
Second round 3.
Third round, and it's scheduled for 10. They're 3-minute round durations. There are some 2-minute rounds in pro boxing, but they're normally the preliminary lads. European super featherweight champion then, Pat Cowdell, against this very tall Mexican, Santos Moreno. There's one thing for sure, Jim, I'll bet Moreno's never fought an opponent of this style. They're used to them sort of coming in and swapping a bit of leather toe-to-toe most of the time.
Yeah, well, there are no signs of Moreno becoming confused or frustrated yet. He's still doing in this round what he was doing in the first. I think he must be wondering what he has to do to land cleanly on Cowdell. He's landed a couple of nice right hands over the top, but nothing to trouble Cowdell any.
In boxing terms, he really is a bit of a Houdini, isn't he, Pat? And a little extra weight, I get the impression he hits a bit harder, Jim, particularly with the right hand. It's only 4 pounds better than the featherweights, but he seems to maybe age as well, eh?
Yeah, well, I don't put it down to the extra weight. I put it down to a couple of things. Experience, the fact he's done 15 rounds with Salvador Sanchez and held him to a split decision. The confidence that brings, and his more positive approach. I don't think he really has any more power. I just think he's now using the power he always had.
And of course, a genuine chance of a World Championship. It's not promoters hype, that one, because I've spoken to Lockridge and his manager about it, and they're pretty keen to come.
Moreno's trying to go forward a bit more now. Maybe he's realised he's been doing the wrong thing.
Well, at least the gymnasium touts were right, that the Mexican was a little bit useful, and that Pat would have to work hard to, certainly to stop him anyway. If you were going for a Mexican fighter, Jim, you could go to general casting, and that was the one they'd send you, isn't it? He really
that's the fact. He's just typical of the breed.
Oh, he's unloading those now. He's really piling those in straight, Cowdell, as well, and he can hardly miss the Mexican.
Round 4.
Round 4. I haven't. Well, he's standing there ready to trade again, Moreno. It's turned into a good fight. Cowdell on top, no question about that. Much cleaner punching anyway. Talking about confidence in Cowdell, Jim, obviously fighting Sanchez, who died tragically with a motor accident soon after. You can understand that he doesn't fear anybody anymore, and I think that's probably why he could give Rocky Lockridge a good go.
Yeah, well, that's a fact. He has the confidence of knowing what he's done. He's the experience, and he knows he has the ability. There's no reason to fear any junior lightweight in the world. But this is actually the best opponent I've seen since Cowdell's comeback. For me, this is the toughest opponent he's had. This fellow knows his way around, throws good punches, and he's presenting a lot of problems.
But Cowdell likes those long-armed fighters that throw what he would call obvious punches, so you can see most of them coming.
See, probably a more inexperienced fighter would try to move back from these swings, and that's when you run into trouble. That's when the swings land. But Cowdell comes inside and blocks them and catches them, and he's still in a position to counter with his own punches. This is where the experience comes in.
So a minute to go in this round. That was a decent punch there from Moreno, that left hand uppercut. It's just reminded him, Cowdell, perhaps don't do that too often. Good exchange of punches there. Like going to the office every day for Cowdell. It's He's only really had 27 wins, 3 losses. You'd think he'd had 100 fights, but of course his amateur career was so extensive. He beat all the top men of his weight at the time.
But that's good. You're holding a nice left hand up close.
Let's have a look at some replay then. There he is. You see, he just counters the Mexican the moment he feels he's going to get any trouble. He opens up with him and stops the Mexican from punching back if he can. That. I got you plainly now.
Second out, round 5.
5th round then, scheduled for 10 rounds, this junior lightweight super featherweight contest. Britain's champion of Europe, having a good hard workout indeed with Santos Moreno. Certainly takes a good shot because Cowdell's caught him fairly cleanly on a number of occasions, obviously, but it's good to see Cowdell really has always backed his defence against most fighters, really being aggressive. Best method of defence is attack, Jimmy.
Yeah, well, I think Cowdell's found that out, but he's becoming more and more aggressive every time we see him, and I'm surprised at the aggression he's shown tonight, because this is a good opponent.
As I said earlier, if he's shaken off the effects of a heavy cold, he's done well, but I suppose those sort of things go when you leave the corner after a round or two, Jim. You haven't got time to think about those, eh?
Yeah, well, if the fight goes to 10 rounds, then we'll maybe see him tire a little bit towards the last couple of rounds. But he's looking good, strong and confident just now.
Mind you, you was usually counting the house in the clinches at the time, I remember. It's an intriguing little fight. I say little fight, though. All the punches are hard. I'm glad to see Cowdell's had a decent match to him, because if he's got to stay really in punch sharp to defend the European Championship, he's hoping to make a quick voluntary defence before the nominated one. Minute to go.
This really is a good workout for him. For the first time, I've seen Moreno becoming just a little bit frustrated. Maybe running out of ideas. He hasn't really shown as much in this round as he has in the previous rounds. I don't know if he's biding his time, looking for the big shot maybe as he's thrown there.
They nearly landed the right hands together there, Jim. Double knockout time, although I doubt it. Cowdell doesn't go on the deck much. He did, in fact, against Sanchez, but got up and almost won the round. Bit of trouble with his gum shield then. The Mexican managed to pop it back in. So the countdown then for the end of the 5th. Round 6. Cowdell undeniably in front, but at all times the Apache, that's his nickname, not mine, from Mexico, has been giving him a real good run. Win, lose or draw, I would think the Mexican could always come back to him, whatever happens.
Yeah, definitely. He's put up a great show. He's always been beaten to the punch in every exchange. Cowdell is the last word, but the Mexican's made it difficult for him all the way through.
And the local crowd now, here we go, sort of soccer chants that are coming into boxing now for Cowdell. Always good to see these fellows when they, at their age, Jim, that can punch as sharp as this and always enjoying the game. But he looks as though he's got Moreno on the run now. The legs are not quite as sprightly as they were, and you could hardly expect there to be any different. Even saw him win the National Association of Boys Clubs Championships, Cowdell, and as a bantamweight. I don't think he'd still be around now in 85. Sort of softer pastures, but he likes it. And the money's not bad. He was setting him up for that right-hand punch, Jim, wasn't he? Really taking his time.
Yeah, I think Moreno's really running out of ideas now. He's a lot more stationary than he has been. And he's kind of going through the motions now. He hasn't any confidence his punches are going to land now.
No, he's been chasing rainbows most of the time. Must be a frustrating man to fight, Cowdell.
Oh, he's impossible. I mean, well, what do you tell anybody who's boxing against him? What do you tell them?
Look out, here he comes. Yeah, definitely showing a bit of ring wear now, Jim. He's not moving away at all as he did early on, Moreno.
Yeah, I think the pressure's getting to him now. Cowdell's never left him alone from the first bell, and it's just been a gradual wearing down. He's still got a bit of fire left now and again, but the gradual pressure must be beginning to tell on him now.
An uppercut there that caused a bit of excitement from the crowd. I don't think Moreno was too pleased with it. His nose is bleeding as well. So he survived this round all right, but I would have thought the riding was very much on the wall now. If he went down, of course, the count would continue after the bell, except if he lasts to the last round.
Get him behind your shots a bit more, you know?
Well, there's no marks there at all with Cowdell. He's listening to the old firm all around him there, the Lynch brothers, while they're spraying him.
Down there.
Almost like they're dampening down the weeds. Let's have a look at this slow motion now of the uppercut coming in that the crowd really liked. There he comes, bingo, and really did nail him there. He almost had him over.
That's it, God.
Right hand, left foot. Right. Yeah, right hand. Because it's a lazy now. It's
Snappy.
slowing down. The right hand
Your
off
own
the top
jab
of
is
the head.
making great as well.
Okay.
Second out, round 7.
So round 7 then with Cowdell and Moreno. And I think Jim Watt and I think he's got a good chance of stopping this Mexican in this round. He had him going towards the end of the last one. Certainly Cowdell milks everything of fighting at home. He really enjoys that. So the chance there of here we go, it might be just as well that Moreno doesn't understand that. He's a good game guy. I'll take my hat off to him anyway. I would think referee John Coyle, the Midlander, Jim, is probably just waiting for maybe one shot to give him a chance to dive in. He's got to give the Mexican every chance, of course.
Yeah, well, Cowdell's totally in charge now, but the Mexican has started thinking more about defence. He's trying to keep himself out of trouble.
That's it. I think he must have heard me as he passed, don't you? I got a feeling that John Cole was saying this fella's put up a good show in the 7th round, and he's absolutely right to stop it. I never like to see bouts go on too long. It's unnecessary. And the champion of Europe has done it again. And his next 2 fights could be for the European Championship, and a definite chance to challenge Rocky Lockridge, the WBA champion, for the Junior Lightweight Championship of the world. And nobody would deserve it more than Pat Cowdell.
10 seconds of round 7.
Yeah, certainly agree with that, Reg. And next Sunday, Cowdell goes to Italy to see Rocky Lockridge in action. Another man with